All right, let's get at this today. I'm gonna work wet paint on dry page today, and I'm working on 140-pound watercolor paper, and I'm gonna pick up quite a bit of blue, whatever blue you like, whatever blue you have in your palette, and I'm gonna make this come down um, just past half. A little past half. We're going to make a bit of a hill here, and I'm going to sort of blend all this together, and I'm just dragging my brush from the left to the right, and I'm going to make it sort of go straight across. I might pick up a little bit of this red here and just introduce it just across the sky like that. Don't overdo it with this, and that red will blend in with that blue, and eventually you'll have a nice mixture of paint. But don't keep touching it. Just do it once. And I'm going to create some nice fields down here, and I'm going to stay away from that blue for now. And I'm going to make these fields sort of come like this and back across here. But I mean, you can make your fields into whatever shape it is that you want them to be. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit of my green here, and this is just a sap green. And I'm going to go from here over to here, and I'm going to gently touch that. Okay, I'm not going to touch it too harshly, and I'm going to make this is going to be like a hill, so I'm going to make all my brush strokes coming down in this direction. Okay, and I think I'm going to bump that color up a little bit, so I'm just going to pick up some more pigment, no more water, and I'm just going to drag that across there and just let it blend together. I'm going to do the same now with this yellow ochre. I'm going to touch my brush to my pigment, no more water, and I'm just going to go back across here and just dragging strokes across like that. Let that all blend together, let it completely dry, and then we're going to do the next part. Okay, so just let it dry. Okay, let's continue. So that took about 10 minutes for that to dry. I mixed up some yellow here, and I'm just going to put this yellow across this whole area here. I make this fairly intense again, and I'm painting this just onto that white area, and I have it quite wet. You can see how much yellow I have on there. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this green, this sap green, and I'm just going to tap my brush, and I'm going to allow that sap green to mix in with that yellow. Add a little bit there, and again, we're just going to let this mix together. If you want this to be more intensely green, you could just pick up some green right out of the palette and put it into there. But I'm going for a spring kind of a look for this particular thing. So I'm going to take a little bit of this yellow, and I'm actually going to put a little bit of this yellow just right down sort of along there, because I want to build a bit of a fence line in there. You can see how that sort of started to puddle there. That's perfectly fine. If you want to move it to get it to mix in more, you can just give your board a bit of a tilt. And let's let this dry up. I just thought I want this to be a bit of trees across the top here, so I'm just going to touch that with a little bit of blue, make that into a little bit slightly darker green across there. And I'm going to do the same along here, sort of randomly. I'm using a number 4 round watercolor brush, but I just want that to all mixed together. We'll just give that a little bit there too, but I want there to be a little bit of a tree line there. So maybe I'm going to change this slightly. Just sort of tap my brush in here with the blue, right? So the blue is mixing together with the yellow, and we're getting a nice variation of the green going across there. And once this dries, it's going to have a, you know, a very sort of mottled kind of effect, I guess might be the way to say it. But yeah, so you can see how it's starting to look like a little bit of trees across there. There's one sort of that's sticking up there. Could be, you know, like a pine tree or something. However it is that you want it to look. And then let's just walk away from this now. We're just going to let this dry. I often say that, and then I end up doing 15 more things to it. Let this dry. Okay, so that took quite a while for that to dry, and I think it needs something. I really like the skies turned out pretty interesting. This little tree line where I introduced that blue, that's turned out pretty interesting. But I think I'm going to take my Sharpie pen, and I think I'm just going to introduce some lines into this. And those of you that have followed me before, have watched me before, know I like to do some line and wash stuff sometimes, and it's kind of an interesting way to, you know, to just highlight, you know, maybe what it is that you're thinking about, or the way that you want your viewer to look at your work. Line and wash is a great tool for watercolorists to, you know, at least to give a try to see what happens. Yeah, that's all turned out pretty interesting. I kind of like the way that line has worked for me. I quite often double up my lines, so I'll go over them, and it seems to give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more oomph. But yeah, if we put the mat on that, yeah, that's turned out all right. I kind of like that. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know where you're from. I'd love to know where all my subscribers are from. It really makes my work kind of interesting. If you're currently a subscriber, thank you very much. And if you're not currently a subscriber, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to hear from you. I hope all your paintings turn out. Have an awesome day.